Hey, so the theme of the live today, I've got two big themes for you. One, coming soon, or better yet, new listings. There are no new listings. New listings are completely, they're just non existent, folks. There's just no new listings out there. And pending sales. Pending sales. No pending sales either. So pending sales are down considerably. New listings or coming soon, however you want to say it, to the market, that is non-existent as well. So that's really the main theme today. And I appreciate you being here. This is our weekly Redfin live update. And this is a great deep dive, unbiased look into the housing market and the latest data from Redfin that they put out each week. So I appreciate you joining me. There was a little bit of a delay for some technical reasons, but hopefully we got those solved. And so our agenda that we usually run here is that we're going to do the national update. So we're going to do a national update on the real estate market. Then we're going to jump into the some metros, and we're going to start with some Ohio metros because I'm in Ohio as a realtor and investor. And then we're going to dive into some other metros like we're going to do, I've got a whole list here. So had some people ask for Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to do that. We're going to do Macomb County, Michigan, which is like northeast Detroit. We're going to do Orlando, Florida. We're going to do San Diego, California, Pittsburgh, PA, Houston, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Las Vegas, Nevada. So if you have a metro you want me to analyze, put it in the comments below. Even if you're watching this later, just comment and just say, hey, Jason, can you analyze whatever metro you want me to, whatever metro or county, and I'll do it on the next live. So let's jump right in to the national update. All right. So as always, there's a lot of changes in the market, right? There are. And I thought the title of the latest Redfin article was pretty interesting. House hunters are back as monthly mortgage payments post first annual decline since 2020. And that's pretty startling, right? So they claim house hunters are back. I'm a realtor. I'm an investor. I can tell you that there are some house hunters that are back, but it's not like they're flooding around not coming off the sidelines and flooding the market with interest. It's more like they're kind of poking around, kicking the tires. I think they realize, a lot of people are realizing that, the market's slow, but at the same time, prices are sticky, and we'll see that in a second. So I don't know that people are flooding back into the market, but what's more shocking is that housing payments are actually down for the first time since 2020. And that's really a factor of interest rates, not prices. That's really what's going on. So, signals of early stage home buying demand, including home tours, are gaining momentum as mortgage rates stabilize at a 15-month low. Something that I thought was really interesting about all this was that there's a cricket in my basement. I can't find him. I don't want to kill him, but he keeps making his noise at the most inconvenient time. So if you hear a cricket or a dog, that's just part of the lives. But even though home tours, according to Redfin and whatnot, are up and they're starting and mortgage rates are stabilizing, pending sales aren't pulling through and new listings aren't pulling through either. That's what we're really seeing, right? So the median U.S. monthly mortgage payment was $2,587 during the 4 weeks ending August 18th. Its lowest level since February and down 0.1% from a year earlier. So what I highlighted here was that's the first time in 4 years monthly mortgage payments has posted any decline at all. Just unreal, right? I mean, just absolutely crazy. The other thing I highlighted here was home prices are still near record highs, up 3.6% year over year. So home prices are still near record highs. I mean, a lot of people thought home prices would like crash, but they haven't, and they're not crashing, despite what a lot of people really are hoping for. And heck, man, they even like called it. I mean, you got people out there on YouTube that have been calling for a housing market price crash, national price crash, for like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, probably 5 years, 10 years, right? But they just don't really understand that when there are no transactions, because people do not want to sell their house. So there's no new listings hardly. You'll see that in a minute. New listings are down week over week, and they're almost lower than they were last year. When you see that, you'll understand people aren't moving. And so there's no turn of inventory, and that really leads to sticky prices. It does. So that's not good for prices. I also highlighted here, I'll go down a little bit. Redfin's Homebuyer Demand Index, a measure of requests for tours and other buying services, has risen 4% over the last week to its highest level in 2 months. Right? So people are starting to look at homes more. They're Googling homes more, but that hasn't pulled through to actual pending sales yet or actual closed transactions, because they highlight that here. Pending home sales are down 5.3% year over year. Yeah. So pending sales. Where's my pending sales sign? Pending sales. Right? They're not around. There's just no pending sales. That's the extent of my prop for the day. It's just like there are some markets where pending sales are up, but mostly they're down. It's a slow time if you're a realtor. Mortgage purchase applications are down 8% year over year. And then they acknowledge pending sales are lagging. It's a lagging indicator, and they may improve as home tours pick up. Redfin agents report they've seen an uptick in buyer interest. I'm not a Redfin agent, but I've seen a slight, I guess, increase in interest, but only if the home's priced right. You know, it's not like people are just making offers because the home's for sale like it was in 2021, where people are like, whatever the price is, I'll pay it. It's like, no, the price has to make sense. The other thing I highlighted here is on the supply side, new listings are up 3.4% year over year, and the total number of homes for sale is up 18%. So we do have more homes for sale, but what they're pointing to is that new listings are only up 3.4%. And if you want prices to come down, you need more new listings, and there just aren't a lot of new listings. It just is what it is. They also mention here that they could see new listings rise in the coming weeks because of the NAR settlement. So you comment below. Tell me what you think. Do you think the NAR settlement and the commission changes are sparking people to all of a sudden start looking for houses and or listing homes for sale? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to spark people to list homes for sale. And the whole notion that it's going to reduce costs to sell your home is, so far in my experience, has been false. It hasn't changed anything. The commissions are really like what they have been. I haven't seen a change at all. It's only been a week, but haven't really seen that much of a change. All right, so let's go down to some of the leading indicators. These indicators are all from, these are like the top line indicators for like the market. And we already talked about the mortgage rates. They're down right now 6.46% approximately, according to Mortgage News Daily. I think today it was 6.46 when I looked at it this morning. Mortgage purchase applications declined 5% from a week earlier. They're down 8% year over year. So what this signals is that mortgage rates came down, but not a lot of people ran out and decided, I'm going to buy a house now. I need to put an application in for a for a home, for a purchase. There are a lot of refinance applications, because rates have come down enough that people are like, okay, now I'll refinance my property or whatever. But purchase applications aren't up. They're down still from a week and down 8% from last year. So that's a good indicator that demand isn't, people really aren't running off the sidelines yet. They're not. Redfin home buyer demand index, well, I'm not going to really cover that much, but it's up 4% from a month earlier. Basically tours and the interest people have in the housing market. Redfin somehow calculates that and says, here's the number for it. Touring activity is up 9% since the start of the year. It should be because it's summer versus January. At this time last year, it was up 5% from the start of 2023. So there's no doubt that, people are touring homes less. Like when I list a home now for a client, even an affordable home, there's just less traffic. There just is. There's just less traffic. Google searches for home is up 8% from a month earlier. So I guess people are starting to look for homes more. So maybe in the coming weeks, folks, we'll see that change. We'll see the number of touring activity change. We'll see the demand start to shift. And then you would see maybe mortgage purchase applications actually increase. But right now we're not. So if you see the applications increase, and you can check that on Mortgage News Daily yourself, every week they talk about it. That is a good signal that more demand's coming back. All right. So the next section is the look into the top 400 metro areas only. These is just the top 400 metro areas. Median sale price, $390,000. That's up 3.6%, up about $1,000 from a week earlier, but about $6,000 below the all-time high. So a lot of people were like, I heard a couple folks say that on YouTube say prices are going to decline from now until the end of the year. And this was 3 or 4 weeks ago. But I don't know why you'd say that. Just make that call and say they're going to decline every week for, between now and the end of the year. Well, they haven't. I mean, now they're up again. So they haven't crashed nationally. Median asking price. Biggest increase since October of 2022. So people are asking more and more for their homes, or there are more expensive homes hitting the market. That's up 6% year over year. We already know about pending sales. They stink. 80,000 units in pending. Look at new listings. Only 90,000 new listings. That's only an increase of 3.4% versus last year. Active listings, only 1 million, right over 1 million. We actually went down since last week in active listings. That's up 18% year over year. Smallest increase since April. So the 18% increase from last year, that's the smallest increase since April. It's just not, there's just not a lot of new listings. There's not. So demand is low, supply is low, and despite the fact that interest rates have dropped, people aren't running out to list their home for sale because they still probably can't afford to move into that next house. It's not that they can't afford to sell. That's crazy to say. To say that they can't afford to sell is not correct. It's they can't afford to go to the next property. That's really what it comes to. It comes down to the fact they can't and they don't want to buy a more expensive house. And even if it's not a more expensive house, even if they're like, oh, I want to move school districts, or I want to move, even if it's not a bigger house, it could be a more expensive house because houses are more expensive now, probably than when they bought their house, right? So they're consequently not listing their current house for sale. I don't blame them. I just don't blame them, because who wants to pay more for the same size of a house? That doesn't make any sense. So they're staying put. Months of supply, 3.6 months of supply. 4 to 5 months of supply is considered balanced, with a lower number indicating a seller's market condition. I agree with this. I think 4 to 5 months is balanced, because look what's happening. There's still not enough supply, and we're at 3.6 months. Technically, it's still a seller's market, technically. Share of homes off market in 2 weeks or less, 36.5. That's down from 42%. So homes are sitting longer. Median days on market is up to, it's 35 days now, 6 days higher than last year. Share of homes sold above list price, 28.9. That's down from 34%. Share of homes with the price dropped 6.9%. That's 1.7 points higher than last year. That's the highest level on record. They keep saying that every week. So more and more price reductions, right? More and more price reductions. I got my price reduce sign back there if you can see it. More and more price reductions. Average sale to list price ratio, 99.2%. That's down half a percentage point versus last year. So people aren't paying they're not paying over asking on average, right? They're paying 99.2% of the list price. So they're still paying near list price, but not over. It's not 100% or 105%. All right, metro level highlights. Let's check that out. So now what they do is they take the top 50 U.S. metros, most populous U.S. metros, and then they talk about the the winners and the losers, basically. So you've got median sale price in Philly, Nassau County, New York, Detroit, Anaheim, and Milwaukee. All are the winners when it comes to median sale price. So there are a lot of areas. I mean, you've got the West here, you've got the East, you've got the Midwest represented, where median price is growing substantially. Columbus, it grew, according to Redfin, over the last 4 weeks. The Columbus market, here where I live, near Columbus, it grew 7% year over year. So it's not slowing down in many areas as far as prices go. Metros with the biggest year-over-year decreases: Austin, Tampa, San Antonio, Fort Worth, and Phoenix. So Phoenix is on the list, but beyond that, it's Texas and Florida, right? Texas is on this list every week. But the median price only declined in 5 metros, just 5. So it's not like, I mean, when you look at the top 50 metros, and 45 of the 50 went up in median sale price year over year. That's not a national crash in prices. Pending sales: San Jose, Los Angeles, Boston, Montgomery County, PA, and Sacramento, California, all had the largest increase in pending sales, properties in contract. Houston, Atlanta, Tampa, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale all had the biggest declines in pending sales. And pending sales increased in only 13 metros across the country. So 13 of the top 50 metros. So again, it's just sluggish. The market's sluggish, and not a lot's moving. Not a lot of listings, not a lot of sales. I mean, look at new listings. This is where they increased the most. San Jose, San Diego, Montgomery County, PA, Miami, and Baltimore, Maryland all had large increases in new listings. Atlanta, Newark, New Jersey, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, and Tampa, Florida all had the largest decline in new listings. It'll be interesting to see what happens to like Austin, San Antonio, and Tampa with new listings. I'm sorry, with prices, because the new listings continue to decline in many of these areas. And if there's not more inventory hitting the market, you're going to see prices stabilize, become sticky. They could even reverse and go up. That could happen. All right. So now we do some of these charts. Median sale price up 3.5%, 3.6% year over year. That's $390,000 now. You can see it's not headed down anymore. Now it's starting to go up, unfortunately. And if you look back at the seasons, right? Like look back at last year, it kind of like leveled off, then just went down steadily. And in 2022, you saw a large downward swing. It did go up for like a week, but then headed down. So this one's odd, right? It's odd, maybe, why prices are starting to go up again. I think it's because the surge of new listings that we had in the spring have been picked through. And now the stuff that's on the market is, maybe some inventory people don't want, or it needs to be further reduced in price, but maybe it's higher priced inventory over the median, right? So when one does sell, it's going to keep the median sticky because there's no lower price homes available. At least that's what I'm seeing here locally. All right. Median asking price up 6% year over year. That's a huge increase, right? It just compared to last year. So the median asking price is not crashing anymore. It came down slightly. It was like over 400 grand at one point. Now it's 397. So I guess that's coming down. Homebuyer housing payments down 0.1% year over year. We're actually lower than we were last year for the first time in a long time. So that tells me that, things could continue to improve as far as payments go if rates keep coming down. And if rates keep coming down, and if prices start to come down eventually, maybe, then you're going to see those payments decrease. All right. Pending sales. Yeah, look at this. Pending sales down 5.3% year over year. It's a rough time if you're in the business. There's just not a lot of transactions. That's why, by the way, you have to have, well, you don't have to, but it helps to have rental properties that cash flow, because then you have a steady income coming in that's dependable, and you don't have to rely on commissions necessarily. So there's nothing worse than a salesperson or a realtor who is desperate. That's not good. That's not good. And it shows in how you act with customers. It shows in your marketing. And there's a lot of realtors that are just dying on the vine, right? They're exiting the business because they just can't make it work anymore. There's no transactions. All right, new listings. This is just dismal new listings. Only 90,000. We're threatening to go under last year. We're definitely under 22 and 21. So not good. Active listings. Look at this. It leveled off. Now it's dropping. Active listings are dropping. And that's ahead of trend. That's ahead of seasonality. It's ahead of what we saw last year. Active listings actually down to that degree. They're not spiking upwards. Why? Well, despite the fact that demand's crushed, new listings aren't hitting the market, so you're not going to have a lot of active listings. 3.6 months of supply available on the market. So months of supply, which is basically the number of homes available divided by the pace at which they sell, that has definitely increased as of late, but it's kind of trending sideways right now. Again, just not a lot of new listings. 37% of pending sales under contract within 2 weeks. So that is good. People are not, putting houses in contract as fast. They're sitting longer. Homes sold in a median of 35 days. So they are sitting longer, no doubt, especially compared to the previous few years. 29% of homes sold above final list price. So homes are not selling for as much over list price as they were before over the last few years. And 6.9% of listings had price drops. Price drops are high, right? I mean, it's a high percentage. But again, you got to think about it. It's not because people are reducing houses that are affordable, move-in ready, in good neighborhoods. It's because they're reducing prices to houses that were overpriced to begin with. So that's and there's not really nothing on the market to pick from. So of course there's going to be a lot of price drops. Average homes sold for 99.2% of final list price. You can see how low that is compared to last few years. At one point, look at that, 103%. Nuts, right? Just completely crazy. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index, don't really care about that too much, but I guess it's going up now, whatever that means. Okay, so that's the look at the charts. Now let's do the downloadable data, and we will look at some metros. Tell me what you think of this new look from a, I don't know what you want to call it, setup standpoint, where my picture's down here. I tried to make it easy to look at on the downloadable data so it's not so confusing. Hopefully this is easier to see for folks. If it's not, let me know. I'll try to change it. All right. So let's do Columbus first. That's the first metro, Columbus, Ohio. I saw this morning. I was like, what in the world? I mean, it's just not good here. It's almost worse than it is in many other areas. So look at this. So new listings, we'll start with new listings. Columbus, Ohio, down 2% year over year with new listings, down 2%. So we have less new listings than this time last year. And now we'll do active listings. Let's see where we are. Active listings. 5,855 active listings. That's a gain of only 13% year over year, and we're headed down. I'm not going to be shocked if we end up lower than last year. It would not shock me. It's not good here from a selection standpoint. All right, let's look at pending sales. Pending sales are down 1.7% year over year in Columbus. Not a lot of transactions, not a lot of new listings. Keep saying it over and over again. We beat that horse to death. Now let's do median sale price now for Columbus. This is disheartening. It's not a record yet, but it's dang close. $352,000 is the median sale price in Columbus, Ohio. Never thought I would say that or see this. We started the year at 315. Now we're at 352. We hit 350. We hit 353 back in July, and so we're not at the peak yet, but we're close. Up 7% year over year. My call is that we end up between 5 and 10% for Columbus. That's what I thought we would do at the beginning of the year. And nationally, I thought between 2 and 5%. So we could easily end up, in that range. It's priced the locals completely out, mainly because of Intel. And comment below, what do you think? Do you think the median house, the median price in the United States is going to end up lower than lower than last year? I don't think so. I don't think it'll end up that low. I think it'll get close nationally. But in Columbus, I think there's going to be definitely a spread between 2024 and 2023. Okay, so that's Columbus. Now I'll go back to new listings and do Cleveland. That's the first one somebody wanted to see. Cleveland, Ohio. New listings in Cleveland, Ohio, up 7% year over year. So they have, more new listings than nationally as far as the spread goes, and the percentage of increase still lower than 22 and 21, unfortunately. Just need more new listings, Cleveland. All right, let's do active listings for Cleveland. Active. Wow. See, you're going to see some metros like this, and real estate's very local, obviously, down almost 1% in active listings year over year. So they are already under, that may be a historical low for them. It could be, but they're already under last year in Cleveland for active listings. And now new listings are under last year. So that's just easy analysis. And that's what I'm talking about with unbiased analysis. I don't care if the prices go up or not. It doesn't, like, whatever. Like, they just do what they do. I can't control that. So I'm not going to base my analysis on hoping they go up or down. And then when they don't do what I want it to do, I call it, fraud or manipulated data. It just, doesn't make any sense to do that to me. So it's like the numbers are what they are. Active listings are down in Cleveland and new listings are down. So let's look at prices and see where those went. I mean, prices in Cleveland, they're only $233,000 for the median home price. Look where they started the year. $193,000, but now they're up to $233,000. They peaked. Where did they peak? $247,000. So they're still up year over year. It doesn't seem like they're going to crash in Cleveland, mainly because there's no inventory. But I think there's a lot of investors there. I think there's a lot of investors going into Cleveland. I had some comments on the channel saying that, so that's possible. Maybe one of the few affordable spots left in the United States. All right, that's Cleveland. Let's do, next is Macomb County, Michigan. So up here on Redfin, you can go to county level data and then look at county instead of metro. It kind of zeroes it in a little more. Macomb County, Michigan. New listings. And again, Macomb County is like northeast. I think it's northeast Detroit, like the northeast quadrant of Detroit. Year over year, new listings are only up 2.1%. That's not going to do it probably. Active listings, let's look at that. They're rising. They're up a whopping 5% year over year, but barely over last year. And they're not skyrocketing at all. And look at the inventory, it started even worse. Look at that. Wow. I mean, you've added like 300 listings in Macomb County. It's not that many. Because new listings aren't great. That's really why. Let's do pending sales for Macomb County. Down 5.5% pending sales. Got to be rough if you're an agent there. Got to imagine it's rough, as it is in most areas of the U.S. right now. If you're an agent right now in the business, or you're like a title agency or a mortgage person, well, mortgage people are maybe doing well now because of refis, but if you can survive during this time or thrive during this time and stick it out, when the market does come back with transactions, there's going to definitely be some opportunity for you, I would think. All right. So that's pending sales. We did new listings, active listings. Let's do median sale price for Macomb County. Yeah, no surprise. $266,000. That's up. Started the year at $232,000. Now you're at $266,000. It looks like it's close to an all-time high. Looks like $270,000 maybe was an all-time high. But you're dang close to it, just like Columbus. 8% year over year. So prices are sticky there, or they're going up. I'm sure locals are priced out, and I'm sure there's a lot of homes that people think, scratch their head when they see the listing and go, how can they charge that for that house? I ask myself that all the time. All right, so that's Macomb County. Now we're going to go back to metros and do Orlando, Florida. Somebody wanted to know about Orlando. And by the way, if I miss somebody, like if you leave a comment, I got to go back through them usually and like keep a list of all the metros people want. If I miss one, don't hate me. Just put it in again and say, hey, Jay, you missed this, and I'll do it. Or even on the live, just yell out, hey, I missed it, and I'll jump into it. So Orlando, I want to do new listings first. Always start with that. New listings in Orlando down 3.6%. I'm starting to see this more and more in metros where new listings are suffering big time. So that's down. Underneath, look at that. That's a 4-year low for new listings, 4-year low for this time of year. Active listings starting to go down. It's up 46% year over year. Active listings are. Well, so let me ask you, you comment below and tell me, because I don't know everything. There's a lot of people, I'm not a wizard at this. You've got new listings now down year over year, but you have active listings still up 46% compared to last year. So what does that tell you? Comment below. Tell me what it tells you. And I'm just curious what you think if you're looking at this going, well, new listings are going down. They're lower than they were last year, but active listings are up significantly compared to last year. I know what it tells me, but I want to find out what you think. So comment, please. All right, that's new. Let's do pending sales. Now you throw in the mix. Add to my question, you're down 11% compared to last year. And last year was bad. This year's even worse in Orlando for pending sales, down 11%, almost 12%, I guess, 11.9. Not good. Not good at all. All right, let's do median sale price for Orlando. Wow, look at the price. It's just like held steady all year. $410,000. Still up over last year, up 3%. And look where it started. $397. Now you're at $410. So it's gone up a little since the beginning of the year, but it hasn't crashed. Again, why do you think that is? Why do you think it hasn't crashed in Orlando? Given the fact that new listings are down, active listings are up, which is a quandary maybe, but they're flat and actually starting to head down now. Pending sales are awful, and median sale price is sticky. There's no transactions. There's no churning of inventory. You don't have affordable homes hitting the market on a daily basis to give that supply on the low side, some life so that people can actually buy those houses. That'll help bring the median sale price down. But not only that, you don't have enough supply to start, having people panic and just slash prices left and right. It's probably inventory people don't want. That's overpriced or destroyed. That's what you're seeing. Okay. Next market is Pittsburgh, PA. Who are they going to choose for their quarterback, I wonder? We've got the Ohio guy, Justin Fields. Then we've got the Wisconsin guy, Russell Wilson. So one of those guys could get picked, right? To start. One of them will start, but I wonder who they'll pick. All right. Pittsburgh, PA. Let's do new listings first. Wow. Up just 1% year over year. Starting to see a theme, folks. Just 1% year over year. Probably won't get it done. Active listings down compared to last year. Only 7,000 active listings. It's down almost 1% compared to last year. Number of homes for sale. That's a 4-year low too at this time. No good. No good. Pending sales in the Steel City down 8.8% year over year. Wow. 4-year low too in pending sales there. So the market's hurting. If you're a realtor there, it's tough, no doubt. All right, let's do median sale price. Median sale price up 4% year over year. It's started to go down since a peak. Where did it peak? 255, 256, $256,000. I'm surprised houses are that affordable in Pittsburgh, but they are, I guess. Look at where you started. Can I figure this out? Down 213. Started that year at 213, shot up to 256. Now you're 248, still up compared to last year. So the market there doesn't seem like it's going to crash in Pittsburgh. There's just not enough inventory to crash it. Need a lot more inventory. By the way, if you see new listings spike, right? Like if you see new listings all of a sudden start to build as we do these lives every week, you're like, man, new listings keep going. Or if you can just go into Redfin and look at the data yourself, you're tracking your local market, your local county. If you see those new listings rise, jump into Zillow, or if you're working with a realtor, have your realtor pull all the new listings for the type of house you're looking at. And you may see some distressed sales in there, right? Foreclosures and whatnot. I don't think you'll see them for a while because it takes a long time for foreclosures to go through the process. And right now we're at a really low level when it comes to delinquency on mortgages, but that's where you'll see distressed selling, right? You'll start to see it in the new listings. But if the new listings aren't picking up steam, guess what? Distressed selling is not here yet. It's just not. So it's an easy indicator. It's like just complete basic analysis, in my opinion. Okay, so that is Pittsburgh. Let's do the next one. Houston, Texas. Now they had the hurricane, so a lot of displaced people, and I'm guessing a lot of destroyed property. So it would be interesting to see how Houston handles everything, because look at new listings in Houston. They cratered, right? Maybe like right around or right after the hurricane, they cratered. People aren't going to list their homes for sale. But now look at them spike up, right? They went up from 2,000 new listings in Houston all the way up to they built 390 new listings in just a week. Then they went up again to 2,429. So now it's up 5.7%, where it was down 17%. Now it's up 5.7%. So there's probably a lot of demand now, or not demand, probably a lot of supply now hitting the market that was delayed, I'm guessing. That's just a guess. I don't live in Houston, obviously. Okay, active listings. Active listings, 28,000 active listings. That's a gain of 16%, but it's going down. Why? Well, new listings haven't been great. And so that's going to cause active listings to go down. Even at the slow amount of demand that they have, probably. We're pending sales in Houston. Yeah, pending sales, it cratered. It's down now, down 17% in pending sales. So look at that. You've got 1,761 pending sales. You've got how many new listings? Go back to that again. And you've got 2,400 new listings. Simple math tells you that that's what, 700 approximately, just round math. That's 700 listings that are basically like left on the market. So that adds to that active listing amount, right? So active listings eventually should start climbing here in the next few weeks, I would think, because now new listings are picking up steam. And again, there's probably some delay in supply because of the hurricane. Again, that's just a guess, but that's what I see on the chart. That's what the chart shows me. All right, let's look at median sale price. So median sale price, look at that, how it's like just up 1%, 345 grand. By the way, that is, so it's more expensive to buy a home in Columbus, Ohio now than it is Houston. Never thought I'd see that. They started, look at Houston, started back at 330 grand at the beginning of the year. Now 345. So there is some increase since the beginning of the year, but it's starting to trend down slightly. I would guess as maybe it'll follow suit with the other Houston areas because there's a lot of new construction there. And that matters. That matters a lot. You've got a lot of new construction in the area. People are like, well, you know, that's just more supply. And it's move-in ready supply. And they're probably offering, the builders are probably offering ridiculous incentives like 1% interest or something, or 2% interest. And by the way, Columbus, Ohio is pathetic with new builds. We have nothing. Like there aren't massive, massive housing developments like there are out west or in the South. All right, 345 grand median sale price. That's Houston. Now let's do Nashville. Then I'll see if there's any comments. Sometimes there are comments. Sometimes people don't want to comment. That's okay. I like doing this and providing the data. All right, Nashville, Tennessee. New listings have continued to go down. They're now just barely up 6.8% compared to last year. Yeah, I don't know. I keep hearing that there's going to be an explosion of new listings in Tennessee. Must be other areas of Tennessee. Doesn't seem like it's in Nashville. Active listings in Nashville, Tennessee, starting to go down, up 13%. That's a 4-year high, though. It's still up more than any other year over the last 4 years. So there are more homes for sale, but new listings aren't skyrocketing. Pending sales. Look how bad that is. It's leveled off, but still 7% down. Man, 4-year low as well in Nashville for pending sales. So if you see pending sales to this degree and you see a spike in new listings and a spike in active inventory, then check your local market for pending sales. And if those are in the toilet, that's an indication that there's going to be a lot more supply. And eventually you should start seeing prices come down from that. You should. That's just basic economics. But right now, pending sales are horrible and new listings aren't, skyrocketing. So I wonder what's happening with prices. Huh. No surprise. $468,000 in Nashville. That's expensive. 3% year over year increase. Started back at $450,000. Now $468,000. So not a huge increase year over year, but it hasn't crashed either. And I would say it's probably because there is just not a lot of new listings and not a lot of active inventory that's probably good that can churn the market and help drive down the price somewhat. There are a lot of big, expensive homes in Nashville. I always say this on these lives when I do Nashville, but going out there to visit some relatives like last year, I was shocked. Some of the houses there are like the largest houses I've seen in my life. Like way bigger than Texas. Texas has nothing on Nashville. I mean, the houses there were they're big, nice, expensive. So I would think those are struggling big time. I would think affordable inventory there is doing well. Still doing well. That's a guess. But if you live in Nashville, chime in, let us know what's going on. All right, let me see what's happening. All right, we'll keep going here. Next, Las Vegas. Las Vegas is next. And then I got a special thing for everybody. A special thing. I have a special data set to show you that I think is pretty interesting. New listings. Holy Toledo. Look at this. What's going on here? This can't be right. Oh, that's New Mexico. Haha. There's a Las Vegas, New Mexico. Who knew? All right. Las Vegas, Nevada. New listings. 9.1% increase year over year. So they have some new listings, but not skyrocketing. Started at 13% year over year. Okay. Well, what's active listings doing? Not impressive either. 19% year over year. So, okay, yeah, definitely has been an increase, but it's leveling off. Not skyrocketing. You'd think it would. In Las Vegas, a lot of people thought the market would crater there. Let's look at pending sales in Vegas. Pending sales down 8.9%. That's headed down fast, it looks like. So, not a lot of transactions in Vegas either. Now, what's happening with the price in Vegas? Looks like it's a 4-year high for this time of year, up 7% to $445,000. Looks like the peak was back in 2022 at 456. So they're off like, what, $11,000 from the peak? But it's kind of been steady all year. Look at that, 415, started at 415 grand, now 445 grand, but it hasn't crashed. So Vegas is still, experiencing, looks like price growth, medium price growth. Again, a lot of people thought Vegas would be one of the spots that would crash. Okay. Again, if you have a metro you want me to analyze on one of these, please let me know. Just comment below. I'll write it down and get to it on the next live. We do these every Thursday. All right. This information here I'm going to show you. Hopefully this is beneficial. Let me make it a little bigger here. Let me do a little bit more. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that. This is the from Realtor.com data. I'm sorry, this is from Zillow data. This is Zillow raw data. We were using Redfin before, I know, but I don't have the chart. I don't have the raw data handy for Redfin, but I am using the Lance Lambert price tracker from Resi Club. And by the way, the links below to his website, and he has, if you're a pro member, he has amazing information. So what I wanted to look at was, of the top 100 metros, how many are down year over year in prices, and where are those metros? And so let me just sort this from largest to smallest. And then this is basically the list. So all these metros are down year over year, according to Zillow price data. Remember, we were looking at Redfin earlier. This is Zillow data, but I thought it was intriguing. So these are all the cities, according to Zillow data, that are down year over year, the major metros. Remember, I just looked at the top 100. So you've got New Orleans, Austin, Cape Coral, Florida, Northport, Florida, San Antonio, Texas, Birmingham, Alabama, Palm Bay, Florida, Deltona, Florida, Jackson, Mississippi, Honolulu, Minneapolis, Dallas, and Lakeland, Florida. All those are down year over year in terms of price or value, is how Zillow does it. The other thing I wanted to show you was this. So let me just do this. Sorry. Give me a second. It's kind of small there. All right. Okay, so this shows us now the shifts from 5, 4, 3, 2, and a 1-year shift, which we just looked at. So not only does this show a year-over-year shift, but then we can go back 5 years and say, where were they pre-pandemic? And so in the top 100, metros, these are the cities that are down the most from prices. Now, nationally, we are up 48% from July. Let me hide these columns real quick, folks. There we go. We are up 48% from 2019 to today. So if you look at July 2019, July 2024, the U.S. is up 48% in the median home price. Let that sink in a second. 48%. So through all these big crashes that we're seeing nationally, supposedly in prices, the housing market's changing, which it is, but it's like a Titanic. It takes a long time to shift, right? It's not just like going to immediately pivot. I mean, we're still up 48% nationally. Now, the metro in the top 100 that's down the most, or I guess up the least was the way to say it, is New Orleans, 6%. So out of the top 100 metros, there are no metros that are down since if you compare pre-pandemic to now. There's not one metro in the top 100. The one that's up the least is New Orleans. But then look at the other numbers. I mean, you've got some of these that were on, and you can see it here on the year over year list, like Minneapolis. It's up 27% since before the pandemic. It's down 0.05% year over year. So it still has a ton of room to run to actually be lower, prices lower than they were before the pandemic. And the same with Honolulu, barely down year over year. Obviously, they are significantly up still compared to 5 years ago, right? But look at some of these other ones. Let me sort this a different way. Let me watch this. Oops, that's the same way. Look at this. Knoxville, Tennessee. We just talked about Tennessee, right? 81% in 5 years. 81%. 82%. Right, 81.99. A 1 year shift, they're up 5.88. Miami, 66%. Remember, this is just the top 100 metros. Up 66%, 67%, however you want to say it. Doesn't really matter at that point, does it? Tampa, 66 or 67. I keep saying that. Northport, Florida. I mean, a lot of these are in Florida. Look at that. Syracuse, New York, 63%. McAllen, Texas, 63%. Cape Coral, Florida, up 62% or 63. New Haven, Connecticut, up 63%. Charlotte, 63% in 5 years. So, and then like look at New Haven, Connecticut, for instance. Holy cow, 8% year over year. So like they've experienced, some of these areas have experienced like a decade of price growth in 5 years, more than a decade, or more than, a decade of price growth in 5 years. It's, I mean, most housing markets traditionally don't increase 10% year over year. It's like 5%, 4%. So to be up 60% in that amount of time is nuts. I mean, look at some of these other ones that, like Atlanta, 56%. San Diego, 59%. There's Orlando. Somebody was asking about Orlando. 58% 5 year shift. It's completely unsustainable, right? There's Columbus, where I am. 52% in 5 years. Now they say we're up 4%. Zillow data shows us up 4% year over year. And that's from the end of, looking at the end of July. Redfin saying we're up 7% now since, we started looking at August data. Nashville, Tennessee, 52% in 5 years. Cincinnati, Ohio, 50% in 5 years. Cleveland, Ohio, 48% in 5 years. The list goes on and on, right? Los Angeles, 47%. There's Austin, Texas. This is another crazy one. Like, look at Austin. It's up 44 or 45% in 5 years. It's down 4 or 5% year over year. And I know they're off almost 20%, I think, since peak, when they had the peak in 2022. But like, you have a ton of runway before you're down since before the pandemic. And what I mean by that, my whole point of saying that is, it's like, even being up 44% in 5 years, that's still good growth. I mean, it's more normalized than 70%, but it's still growth. So Oh, there's Houston, right? We just talked about Houston, up 40%, nearly 40% since before the pandemic. So that pandemic stuff is important to look at. You can kind of see where we were over the last 5 years. And this chart actually goes back 20 years, which is, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show everybody or go through all the data now, but this shows a 20-year shift. So like I said, Lance's info is phenomenal because it allows you to really look historically at some of these areas and figure out really what's going on, right? But yeah, there's a 20-year shift, 15-year shift, 10, 9, all the way down. He does month over month and all that. So I would encourage you to check out Lance's information if you really want to know what's going on with your local housing market, because he does a fantastic job. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. That's what I had to share. Redfin update, not a lot of new listings, not a lot of active listings hitting the market or staying on the market, and not a lot of pending sales. It's just a weird, slow market. And I know a lot of buyers, agents are terrified of the market. They're thinking, man, what do I do? Do I wait for the election? Do I not wait for the election? Do I wait for rates to go down? Do I not wait for rates to go down? Whatever you do as a buyer, seller, investor right now, you have to keep your finger on the pulse of the market. We do that on this channel, but shoot, just go into Redfin and take a look at the data yourself. You know, you can look at it just like I do, or jump on Lance's information and you can even get more details. But pay attention to that new listing pace and trajectory in your area. Pay attention to the pending sales, and definitely pay attention to those parameters to understand, is inventory building or is it stagnant? Is it going down? If inventory is building in your market, chances are prices should eventually come down. Hopefully they don't lower interest rates too much coming up. That would be bad for buyers, and it would just create more demand. And if we get $25,000 each to buy a home, I think Harris wants to do that, then that would obviously probably add fuel to the fire when it comes to home prices, which wouldn't be good either. Anyway, that's what I got today, and I appreciate you joining me. We'll do this again next week. I won't delay it next week, and we'll jump on it on time. So thanks for your attention. Like, subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, so help me out. Get me to 1,000. Have a good day. We'll see you.